Our journey through Namibia nostalgia continues here. We have entered Etosha National Park. This is a place that I hold relatively dear. This is somewhere that I came a long time ago, as you know from watching this video, and have been back to a few times since then, and it is a spectacular park for wildlife and just for landscape and being a part of the African experience, if you will, especially here in southern Africa, Namibia. So I'm very excited to be back, and hopefully for the second half of this video we're going to see lots of wildlife and maybe some good light. The whole crew, we're here for 3 nights, which is really good. We're going to get 6 game drives in, and yeah, you're in for a treat. What animals do you think we're going to see? Let's find out. Hello, ma'am. All right, we've been in the park for a couple hours now, and I have to shout out Armin Junkin, who is a local guide here in Namibia. He was the guy that I was working with when I was here 6 months ago, and he sent me a voice message because he was here just last week, and he said that there is a female cheetah with 2 cubs at a specific watering hole, and I told Brendan about it, and we both just came right here, and what do you know? Here we found the mother cheetah and 2 little baby cubs. They are so small, and they have a kill, and they're eating it looks like a springbok or an impala. We can't really get a good eye on it just yet, but this is a very, very unique wildlife experience here in Etosha, and it's really cool to be able to share this with our group because this is the first time that Brendan's ever seen cheetahs in Etosha, and last time I was here in 3 whole days we only saw 1, and it really wasn't a very good sighting. So the 2 little cubs and the kill, this is something special. So very good start to Etosha, and I think I've already beat some of my photos from 2012, but you tell me, you're the judge of this video. I got a couple of good kill photos from 2012 as well, so let's see. Etosha National Park, Namibia.
Pulled over to use the bathroom and realized there was a tire blown. So, 2 for 2. I should have said it's dusty as your mom's balls under here. Is that high enough? My mom cleans her balls. How dare you? Yeah, you're good.
Oh, you motherfucker. Alright, let's see it. Let's see it. Ready? Have a look. Hey, oh, good job, Neil. Awesome. Good afternoon from Halali Camp in Etosha National Park. This is the next day, our first full day here in the park, and you can see there's a herd of elephants behind me. We are at the watering hole of Halali, and Mr. Vanson's been kind enough to lend me his 100 to 400 because his current challenge is only shooting Etosha at 70 to 200. So I'm very happy to have this lens because I'm getting a lot more reach and some fantastic photos. Honestly, I think that this whole nostalgia video is a bit unfair now that I'm shooting with full frame mirrorless and a 100 to 400 because there are definitely much better images that I can capture with this setup than the crop sensor Canon T3i Rebel that I used to have, 550D for those in Europe. So yeah, it's a bit unfair because I am getting some fantastic photos, including one of zebras drinking in black and white. That is a bucket list safari shot that I'm very happy to have. So geez, check this out. There's a giant crane flying into the frame right now. Amazing wide angle, but that was very, very cool. So the action continues here in Etosha, and Halali is not where I stayed 10 years ago too. So this is a different watering hole and still a very unique experience, but also very different to what I was shooting in 2012. So it's cool to have the comparison of both, even though, you know, I was shooting on a crop sensor Canon T3i Rebel, which was a good camera at the time, but really doesn't compare to this at the moment. And this is the Canon EOS R. I mean, if I had the R5, check it out, we've made it to the Etosha Lookout. This is a part of the park where you can drive, you know, relatively far into the salt pan, probably about 1 kilometer, and get out of your vehicle, which is really nice to stretch the legs and break up the driving. And I was here 10 years ago, and we had a lot more fun. I remember I was traveling with 3 Australian girls and 1 Dutch photographer who had actually at the time a full frame Nikon and a couple different lenses, and I was definitely looking up to him to get ideas of like different photos and whatnot, and he was getting some amazing photos. But we did come here and we jumped around a little bit and had some fun with you know, different photo ideas per se, which definitely we're not doing this boring photography group. All they want to do is photograph animals. But yeah, it's cool to be back here and to share with you a bit more about that tour, because I was traveling with those 3 girls and the 1 guy for 3 weeks, and we stayed actually at Namutomi, which is the further camp in the east, and that was just a fantastic location. Had a great watering hole. They have like an old kind of castle fort that you can climb to the top of to get sunset photos. And actually the last time I was in Namibia just this year with the German group, another tour operator that I work for as a photographer and a videographer, I mentioned that in that video. So if you haven't seen that one, go and check it out for a bit more information. But yeah, it's very cool to be back here at the Etosha Lookout, but we have got a lot more of the park to explore. It's a little bit loud, windy with this crazy vehicle. What? Give it ISO 100. Those sound pretty good. And 10 years later, you have now seen some of the favorite photos that I took back in 2012, traveling around Namibia for just under a month, which was an absolutely fantastic experience. And I look back at those photos and it gives me really good memories, even though at the time I wasn't editing. You know, I had far less knowledge than I do now about landscape travel and wildlife photography, but I still had, you know, the crop sensor DSLR, 3 lenses, and the passion to try and learn as much as I could and capture these unique memories, which is exactly what they are. And I think a lot of you guys watching this, I know you're photographers, I know you're interested in travel and making your own memories. And that's one of the reasons why I started this channel back in 2007. If you're looking for some terrible videos, you can sort the videos on my channel from oldest to newest, and you'll find some really funny old stuff from Central America. But the whole reason I started making videos was to capture the experience, and taking photos has been kind of the same thing. So being able to combine the two is really great for me. And then having an audience or a platform to share the videos, that being YouTube, is just fantastic. So even though I know there's not, you know, hundreds of thousands of views, that doesn't really bother me as long as I can create these memories for me to look back on 10 years from now and share with our son Mateo Jack, which would be fantastic for Nelly and I. And I hope one day that I will be able to bring Nelly and Mateo on these adventures with me, you know, to some different parts of the world, possibly even Africa, for photography adventures. But yeah, this has been a nice sort of run down memory lane, and I hope that you've been able to see the difference between those 10-year-old photos and the ones from today. And I wanted to end this video, because it's the last part of the Namibian series, with a classic slideshow of the best photos that I've taken in the last 10 days. So I want you to get an idea for the portfolio that I've kind of created here during this tour, and hopefully you can see the change and the progression that I've had. And also big thanks to Brendan and to Neil for putting this whole trip together and confirming all the logistics. You know that Brendan hires me to come on board to help create B-roll and secondary footage for his videos on his channel, and also help run the tours and do what I can to add to the group dynamics and managing, you know, group expectations. And I hope, and I know that everybody has enjoyed their trip so far. So that's a huge win for us once again, and another successful adventure photography workshop focusing on travel, landscapes, and wildlife. And thank you, of course, for watching from home. I hope you've enjoyed this series. This last video has been a little bit long, but if you've made it to the end here, I do think that it's really cool that you're along for the ride, and I want to see you know, what it is that I'm doing. So much appreciated, and I will see you in the next video, where we're going to start a new series, and we're going back to South America. It's not 100% yet, but I think it's going to happen. So I'm feeling confident enough to say it here at the end of the video. But I believe that we'll be going to one of my favorite countries in the world, and that is Argentina. I'll see you there.
we're now arriving in Sicily, Namibia. Current weather in the desert is 35 degrees Celsius with winds out of the west-southwest at 40 miles an hour. Severe turbulence is expected, so I'm going to turn on the fasten seatbelt sign for the remainder of the flight. Should be on the ground in 25 minutes, pulling up to gate C17, that's Charlie 17.